All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into a topic that's, well, it's evolving just as fast as the technology itself, the ethics of artificial intelligence. And believe me, this isn't just for philosophers anymore. It's a conversation for every single one of us.
I mean, think about it. AI is pretty much everywhere. It's helping write our emails, it's recommending our next favorite show, it's even helping doctors spot diseases. Its intelligence is just exploding. But that brings up the single most important question we have to ask ourselves. As AI gets smarter and smarter, are we getting any wiser about how we build it and use it? So before we can even try to answer that massive question, we got to get on the same page. Let's start with the basics. What are we even talking about when we say AI ethics? At its core, AI ethics is really a balancing act. This isn't about hitting the brakes on innovation and stopping progress. Not at all. It's about being smart, being deliberate, and making sure that we're squeezing every last drop of good out of AI while, and this is the important part, while actively working to minimize the very real risks that come along for the ride. And make no mistake, this isn't some abstract debate for a college classroom. For the companies actually building and using this tech, the stakes are unbelievably high. One wrong move, one biased algorithm, and you're looking at a public relations nightmare, brand new government regulations, or even millions in lawsuits. This is Business 101 now. So if the risks are that big, how do you even begin to navigate this? Well, you need a moral compass, right? A set of solid guiding principles to point everyone in the right direction. Let's take a look at what that compass looks like. And here's a twist you might not expect. The foundation for modern AI ethics doesn't actually come from a tech manifesto written last year in Silicon Valley. Nope. It comes from something called the Belmont Report, a framework from the 1970s created for ethical research on human subjects. The core idea is surprisingly simple. The same principles we use to protect people in scientific experiments can and should guide how we build our machines. And that report gives us these three core pillars that really build on each other. It's a beautiful progression. It starts with the individual person. Then it looks at the action the AI is taking. And finally, it zooms all the way out to look at the impact on society as a whole. Let's break them down. So, first up, respect for persons. That just means you, the user, are in control. It's about your autonomy, your consent. Next is beneficence. It's basically the doctor's oath for AI. First, do no harm. It's on us to prevent our creations from causing damage. And finally, justice. This is the big one. It forces us to ask, who is this tech helping? And just as important, who might it be hurting? Who gets the benefits and who shoulders the risks? Okay, so those principles sound great on paper, right? But theory is one thing. The real world? Well, the real world is where things get complicated and messy. So where are these ideas actually being put to the test right now today? And that question brings us right to the heart of it all. This is the modern-day minefield of AI ethics, where even the best intentions can go sideways and have some really damaging consequences. Right now, there are three huge battlegrounds. First, the absolutely staggering power of generative AI. We're talking ChatGPT and tools like it. They've supercharged conversations about everything from misinformation to art to copyright. Second, this really stubborn problem of bias and discrimination getting baked right into the AI systems themselves. And third, that ongoing struggle to protect our own personal privacy in a world that runs on data. Let's look at a real-world example of that bias problem. A few years back, Amazon tried to build an AI hiring tool to find the best software developers. But here's the catch. They trained it on 10 years of their old resumes, which were overwhelmingly from men. So what happened? The AI literally taught itself that being a man was a key indicator of success. It started penalizing resumes that included the word women's, like women's chess club captain. They had to scrap the whole thing. And the fallout from cautionary tales like that has forced major companies to take a firm stand. I mean, look at this quote from IBM CEO. He is drawing a very clear line in the sand, saying they will not allow their tech, especially facial recognition, to be used for things like mass surveillance or racial profiling. The message is loud and clear. Accountability is not optional anymore. Okay, so we've covered the principles and we've looked at the big, thorny problems. Now for the most important part. Let's shift to the solutions. How do we actually move forward and proactively build AI that we can, trust? It really comes down to two key things working together. On one side, you have your principles. That's the what. It's your North Star, your ethical goals, like fairness and transparency. But principles alone aren't enough. You also need governance. That's the how. These are the actual policies, the review boards, the checklists, the stuff that turns those lofty goals into reality. Because principles without governance are just empty promises, and governance without principles is just pointless bureaucracy. But even a big principle like fairness can be too abstract. To make it real, to make it something an engineer can actually build and test, you have to break it down even further into concrete, actionable pillars. And this is what that system looks like in practice. You've got these 5 essential pillars, and they all have to work together. Think about it. You can't really have fairness if you don't have explainability to understand why an AI made a certain decision. You can't claim to have transparency if you aren't also fiercely protecting user privacy. It's a complete system, and if one piece is missing, the whole thing can fall apart. And really, that brings us right back to where we started. As these AI systems get more and more powerful, the technical question of what can it do starts to matter a whole lot less than the ethical one. What should it do? And finding the answer to that, well, that isn't just a job for the people building the code. It's a responsibility that we all share.